Hey guys, we are here to talk again about the promotion and regulation of Online Gaming Bill 2025, which was passed in Lok Sabha yesterday and it was passed in Rajya Sabha without any objections. So, what happens now? The way I see it, all the real money gaming, including poker, gets banned overnight. Thousands of jobs will be lost. Players like me will have to figure out what we are going to do next. Till today, I was playing online on Indian platforms, and I don't know how that day will feel like when there are no more games to play online on Indian platforms, because I have not seen that day till date. The job lost is just one part of it, but so many poker aspirants, so many people who saw poker as a way of living, as a career, will have a lot of questions in their mind which will need answers. What are they going to do? How are they going to have a career in poker? But it is what it is, and we have to face the consequences of the bill being passed and deal with it as and when. Now, another important part which we do have to discuss, that why are we here? Why did this day come? The government has said that the online gaming causes addiction, causes huge financial loss, causes severe mental health problem. Government has gone as far as to say that lot of families have been destroyed. The number which they have termed, the amount of money which people lost to online gaming sites, is 20,000 crores. 20,000 crores, okay. I read it, but again, it's pretty shocking, but not surprising. I myself can relate in some ways to it with respect to the amount of money which I have made. I will have to calculate based on how much less I made because of the increasing fees, increasing rate, taxation, GST. But at the end of the day, it's not easy. It's not easy being a professional poker player in India. At the end of the day, if I go back from 6 years till date, at every point, whenever there has been a change or whenever there has been a shift or any decision making which has been made, it has been against the players and not for the players. What has happened in the poker industry over the last few years? Initially, we had to pay rake, which we thought was high every time. I as a player, never thought the rake was low in an Indian market. We had to pay huge number of amount of tax. Like effectively, if you make more than 1 crore a year, you have to pay close to 35%. Once you cross the barrier of 2 crores, you have to pay 40. Once you cross 3 crores, you have to pay 45%. I know these numbers are very big, and anyone making 3 crore must feel like, okay, he's already making a lot of money. But imagine working really hard to make 3 crore rupees and paying effectively 45% tax on it. Now, if the rate would have been lower, let's say, if I just take my example, in let's say last fiscal year, I made 3 crores and paid effective tax of 45%. But if I would be playing poker in 2018 or 2019, I probably would have made 5 crores because I paid additional 2 crore worth of rake because the rate was increased. Why? Because government introduced GST. Who suffered because of GST the most? I definitely believe the players, because all of a sudden, once the GST ruling came in, we had to face high rake. We had to face different practices by websites which were in their favor and not in players' favor by any means. So of course, they had to bear the GST, but I think most of the burden of the GST was borne by the players and not by the operators. If I'm wrong, but that's how I felt. And again, it's my opinion, and that's how I feel. So who are the concerned people who are affected by this? Okay, so there are the operators, there are the players, there are the employees, and the government, because government also get impacted by the decision making. The operators lose a lot because their business gets stopped. The people who had their jobs, they lose a lot because, again, they are losing their jobs. Players like me, we also lose a lot. We had a platform which we were using to make our money, make our livelihood, and now we have to all of a sudden wonder, where are we going to play? What options do we have? Government had a decision to make where they forego of the tax which they were collecting from these websites, and also weigh the impact these companies were having on the society with respect to the money which was being lost by the people into these gaming platforms. Now, I'm trying to be objective here. I'm not trying to take any side here. I'm just putting things out there in my own perspective, the way I see it. And government decided that we don't care about the tax, we care about the society more. Now, how much of this is true and how much is not, I don't know what went inside, what discussion they had. I just want to. I don't have comments on that. But if anyone who had to make a choice between the two was the government, we are biased here. We only care about the game running so that we all have our livelihood, so that we all can have a job, we all can have work to do, we all can make more money. And it applies to me, it applies to the operators, it applies to the people who are going to lose their jobs. So this is my perspective here. And though I am sad, though I am upset, but I do believe at in some place within my heart that something was definitely necessary to bring a change. If it begins with a ban and things turn out to be better in the future, so be it. I'm trying to be an optimist here. I hope and definitely believe that government will take the righteous step, because again, banning this is just sad, and I would not want that. Let's also acknowledge that poker is a fraction of online gaming, and everything else other than poker, be it rummy, be it any other games, be it fantasy, though they are termed as skill games, but they are really addictive. When I talk about poker, I believe that there should be a differentiation between tournaments and cash game. There has been a conversation about poker being a sport. Now, I don't really think poker as a whole is a sport. Tournament poker, though, with some features which tournament poker brings and the skill set which is required to be a successful tournament player, can be related to a lot of other sport or mind sports, and it's true. But poker as a whole, I would not say is a sport. If anything, poker cash games can be very addictive. I have my personal experience as a poker player. I know friends, peers, family members, my people who have worked for me. Everyone over there, some or the other, have somehow find themselves addicted to poker if they started playing. And I have done my part in explaining that, poker is supposed to be just for entertainment, for people who are not professionals, and they should never lose beyond their capability, which comes to the point where I talk about the affordability. The affordability test talks about whether a player, when comes to sit on the table, can afford to lose that money or not, which is something which is applicable across all the developed nations where the gaming industry is regulated, which I believe is the key element which needs to be integrated in the Indian gaming industry if it comes back again in the future. It might feel like I am being a hypocrite when I talk about it, but and I wouldn't disagree with it, because when a player comes to the table and loses money, I don't care whether he can afford it or not. I care about winning the money. That being said, I still have to acknowledge that this is something which happens. People go and lose way beyond their capability. In the past, I, with many other peers and professional poker players, have had discussions specific to the cash games. I firmly believe cash games are supposed to be played by people who can afford to play and take the variance, and by professionals like me who are training themselves to play this game. I also want to address that people who play currently in these games will all of a sudden move to the unregulated market, and now all those systems and checks which government want to put, they in no way can ever put over there, and this is the case. But guys, come on, the unregulated market has existed like forever. It's there now, it's here, it's everywhere in the world. People who want to go and play to unregulated market, they still go and play. So having this conversation that banning this will lead people to go and play into the unregulated market, to me, yes, it's true, but that's not like it's going to promote the unregulated. No one needs to promote the unregulated market. It promotes on its own. That's why it's unregulated. I don't really think having a conversation about how people are going to move to unregulated markets it makes any sense here. I think we need to address the main point which government has brought and what we have. The losses which the industry will face, the losses which people will face by losing their job, the losses which players will face, Yes, they needs to be acknowledged, but other than that, I don't think talking about the unregulated market and the effects it's going to have, because the government has put ban, it brings in too much. And I definitely think the government thought the same way as well, because they know that, like, everyone knows the unregulated market exists and how rampant it is. Of course there is a need to put a system in place to regulate the unregulated market or completely stop the unregulated market, but we all know that's something which is just a dream. The unregulated markets have not been stopped in the best of the democracies, be it America, be it UK, anywhere where there are these regulated gaming, they all have unregulated markets as well, and we all are aware about it. So, for me, it's a discussion we can have as long as we want to, but it doesn't reach anywhere. It doesn't make put a point forth for anyone. Like, it will not put a point in front of the government that, if you will do this, the people will move to the unregulated market. Like, no, to me it doesn't make that much sense. Let me address government's concern. Government says it causes financial ruin, it causes addiction, and it also causes severe mental health problems. I do have to acknowledge that all these things which government has mentioned happen in poker as well. I myself has faced severe mental health problems while playing poker in my career, and I'm a professional. I can't even fathom or imagine the struggles which a layman or a normal office going worker would have once he loses money which he can't afford. And there is no way to prevent that he doesn't lose that money. The game in itself is addictive. We have to acknowledge that. It might feel like I might sympathize with government's decision. No, I don't. I don't think this was the right approach. The action from government should have come long ago. I myself had wondered many times in the past that how good it will be to have a regulated gaming industry, how good it will be to have a body which regulates poker, how good it will be that the operators who run the games have to answer to someone about their practices or what they are doing, but they don't. And that's what brought us here, in my opinion, where it came to a point where government felt they had no choice. It's a country of 1.3 billion people. The government had to also consider the losses it will face because of the loss in tax collection from these companies. And they also had to consider the impact which is happening on various vulnerable groups, the amount of money lost because of addiction, the families being destroyed. Those are the things which government had mentioned, and sadly they all are true, because I personally have experienced those things with people close to mine. I have seen news articles which are, the numbers are just increasing day by day over a period of time. And with all this into consideration, I definitely thought there was something which needs to be done. Was it this? No, but where to begin? Banning is, of course, not the right way. It's not the right approach. Banning is not sustainable as well, but neither was the system which was running. So I do believe there is hope. I do believe government will come back with strict regulations for everyone who wants to operate a real money gaming platform, and they will have to abide by those regulations. It will definitely make the system better and better for everyone. That's my hope, and that is what I like to see in the upcoming future. I want to see this as soon as possible, so that I don't want to move out from India. I love my country. I love to stay in India. Though if I'm left with no choice, I will have to consider, because poker is something which I love. It's my profession. And if I have to move out of country for it, then so be it. I will have to take that step.